holy brothers and sisters! It is the 28th day of IYAR, the 43rd day of the Omer. For those counting, we are in teaching number 119. On Shabbos, every person is imbued with holy knowledge. Through this, the attribute of compassion rises up within him, and in turn causes him to act compassionately towards others, since compassion is dependent on knowledge. Then, when he has compassion, heaven has compassion on him. We know that the way in which we act is how we are going to be treated as well. It's not simply a reward or punishment for what we think, say, or do, but rather it's a reality that we create for ourselves, and we must live in that world which we create. Teaching number 120. When a person studies something in a book, it does not have the same power to inspire him as when he hears it from the mouth of the tzaddik, the righteous one himself. This reality is recognized explicitly in the Torah as well. We have to make the Torah and our learning come alive. Try to attend lectures in person. Try to directly hear powerful and inspirational Torah, and watch videos or listen to recordings of audios, besides just reading it in the book itself. Teaching number 121. Wherever a person is reading or studying in any book, he should always find himself. In other words, he should glean moral instruction for himself, and he should see his own smallness and lowliness. When a person does this, it is a sign that he desires to do God's will. Don't just learn teachings, live the teachings. Teaching number 122. The desire to be victorious is a trait that cannot endure in truth. Even if the truth should be patently demonstrated to a person, he will reject it as a result of this trait. Therefore, a person who wants the real truth must first cast off his own desire to be right, then he'll be able to see the truth if he wishes to do so. God, however, is truth even amidst its desire to be victorious. This is the explanation of the verse. Also, the victorious one of Israel will not lie. From 1 Samuel 15:29. Stop trying to win arguments. Listen to what others have to say. Recognize that we may be wrong. Stay humble enough to be able to recognize and to be able to change. Teaching number 123. The essence and the foundation upon which all else depends on is to bind oneself to the tzaddik, the righteous one of the generation, and to accept everything that he says as absolute fact, whether it be something small or something large, and not to diverge from his words, God forbid, left or right. A person must throw away all of his sophisticated notions, set aside his own knowledge, and as if he has no intellect or intelligence at all except for what he receives from the true tzaddik and Rav. As long as he still retains some of his own intellect, he remains in a state of imperfection, and he is not yet bound to that tzaddik. Similarly, the crucial factor that enabled the Jewish people to receive the Torah was that they cast aside all their sophisticated notions, and they believed in God and Moses his servant. Exodus 14:31. This very idea is expressed in the verse, a nation foolish and unwise, Deuteronomy 32:6, which the Targum defines as a nation that received the Torah and that did not act wisely. Additionally, the essential component in a person's acceptance of the yoke of the kingdom of heaven is that he casts off and invalidates all sorts of sophisticated notions and simply conducts himself with straightforwardness and simplicity. For the Torah, the Holy Torah, is alone the true wisdom, and all other wisdom is totally insignificant in comparison. We have to know that the only truth, the absolute truth, is the Torah. Teaching number 124. When a person speaks before God, expressing himself with the various pleas and requests as he wishes, so to speak, to defeat the Holy One, blessed is he, so that he should fulfill his requests, this gives God great pleasure, and it makes him very happy indeed. Therefore, God sends to this person's mouth the words that he needs in order to defeat him. For if it were not so, it would certainly be impossible for flesh and blood to defeat God. But God himself assists a person in this endeavor. Do not ever give up. God desires that we should continue pounding on his door. Keep crying, keep praying, keep asking, especially for spiritual gains. Sometimes we just need to hit a certain amount of times that we have to keep knocking and keep growing and keep striving for. But when we do and we finally reach that, we'll have the fortitude and the confidence and the emunah that we will prevail, then we will be answered. Yeah, sometimes it takes some time. Sometimes we have to ask over and over again. But just because you're not getting answered, it doesn't mean that God doesn't hear you. He wants it and he craves it and he desires it. So keep praying away and you will get it at the end of the day. God willing, we should all be answered in everything that we request for in physical and spiritual needs. And thank you so much as always for learning together. If you enjoyed this lesson, please remember to like, comment, share, and borrow. And please God, we'll learn again tomorrow.